All right. Hello, mighty companions, mighty companions, mighty companions. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles, and I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome everybody that's online, watching them from all over the world. Last week, I had an incredible conversation with someone who was watching from Bangkok. I thought that was really cool and really interesting. I've met people and have contacted people, and people have contacted me from all over the world. It's really interesting to, I forget I've been doing this so long, that when someone says, oh yeah, I've been listening to you 15 years, or 12 years, or 13 years, or whatever, you know. You never know the effect that you're having on people in your life. You never know the effect that you're having on the people in your life, the people that meet you. And so thank you for coming. Thank you for being willing to open your mind up enough to listen to something that might be different from what you think and what you believe. Do you know the definition of new is different, right? If you go, I want to learn something new or do something new, you're talking about something different, right? So a lot of times we'll say, I'm ready for a new life. I'm ready for a new beginning. I'm ready for a shift in my life. But I want everything to stay exactly the same. Right? So sometimes when people say they're ready to change or they're ready for something new, it goes something like this. You know, I'm ready for a totally different experience with me staying pretty much exactly the way I am. How can I stay just the way I am and give myself a different experience from what I'm having right now? And so the Course in Miracles is a course in removing the blocks that you have to the awareness of the love and the truth and the joy that's inside you. So this is about getting in touch with the power and the truth and the love and the peace that's inside of you, and then learning how to let go of the blocks to that. So it's sort of like the analogy of that light coming through those windows right now. If I close the shade, all I have to do is open it, the light comes through on its own. So love is always ready to shine into your life. Peace is always ready to shine into your life. Joy is always ready, but you got the shades drawn. You got the blinds closed. And then people go, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? What are the blinds? Anger, fear, guilt, grievances, separation, not being able to let go of the past, wanting to attack, thinking that you're just a body that's just going to be here for a certain number of years, and then you're done. Those are all blocks. Believing, if you were brought up to believe your creator was something to be afraid of, that's a block. If you were taught that you are sinful and guilty and that's the way you are, that's a block. So blocks are the anger, the guilt, the grievances, and you can use your feelings to get you in touch with your thoughts. So your feelings always lead you back to your beliefs. That's what's so cool about your feelings. You know, is that if you're feeling anger and you're feeling confusion and you're feeling disorientation, well, the Course would say, well, there's something about the way that you're perceiving things that's incorrect in terms of giving you peace. It's not saying that it's incorrect sometimes in terms of the physical situation that you're dealing with, but if you're full of conflict, anger, fear, and grievances, the Course is saying your interpretation of that situation is wrong. Because when you're looking at things correctly, it's one of the main ways you'll know it is you'll feel more peace and you'll feel more fulfillment and you'll feel more happiness. So what's the problem? Well, most of us that have grown up in this culture, society, this world, or think that we're separate, we are constantly kind of taught that if we can change everything and everybody outside of us to be the way that we want them to be, then we'll be happy. Anybody familiar with that one? You know, as soon as my mother changes, I'll be happy. Soon as my boss changes, I'll be happy. Soon as the wind changes, which I was saying last night, you know, then there's a temptation of me being happy. So the secret to happiness is knowing that your happiness comes from you and everything that you're feeling is really coming from you. You're not really feeling my feelings right now, you're feeling your feelings right now. I said again, do you know you're not really feeling my feelings right now, and I'm not feeling your feelings right now, you're feeling your feelings right now. So when you sometimes say, I can feel the love that's coming from someone else, actually what you're probably feeling is the love that you are giving and the love that you're feeling. And then you're projecting it that they're feeling the love and the attraction, and maybe because they are running in the other direction, it might be a possibility that they're not necessarily feeling that love that you think you're feeling for them. A restraining order might be a hint that this isn't your soulmate. But have you ever tried the hardest to be in a relationship of love with someone who was resisting you a lot, and you found yourself trying even harder because you're missing the obvious cues from spirit in the universe that this is not the person, which is they don't want you? See, right? That's too easy. That's too easy. So now what we're going to talk about in the course is we're going to continue in the section that we're in right now that's called the Holy Spirit's Curriculum, which is on page 216, chapter 12, the Holy Spirit's Curriculum, chapter 12, the Holy Spirit's Curriculum, page 216. And remember, if you want to make, I do the Course in Miracles in plain language, and I also use the definitions of the terms that the Course uses. So sometimes I'll substitute those. But basically the Course says it's only talking about love and fear. How to experience what love really looks like, and what to know, and how to know what love is, true joy is, and when you're dealing with fear, and you're dealing with misperception, and you're dealing with separation. It also likes to say we have a split mind, that there's one part of our mind that's totally sane and totally loving and totally aware of the truth, and then there's another part of our mind that says that's totally insane with fear and separation and guilt and grievances, and then we go back and forth between those two aspects of our own mind. So sometimes I listen to my sane mind and relate in a very peaceful, loving way, and then there'll be times I listen to the part of my mind that's not very sane, and I'm in projection mode, guilt mode, anger mode, and that's how I can tell when I'm going back and forth between my sane self and my insane self. So the Course calls your sane mind, your divine mind, your loving mind, the part of you that really has its act together, calls that the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is that part of you that is divine and is aware of this relationship to the Creator and all that is, but it's also the part of you that knows that it also is aware you might think that you have a MasterCard bill that needs to be paid. It's the part of us, it's the part of God that's aware of the illusions that we think we have and where we think we are, and that part that's also aware of the truth about what we are. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. We form relationships to either reinforce the fear and the separation, or we use relationships to wake us up and give us a lot more peace and a lot more joy and a lot more oneness. Relationships that are rooted in fear and insecurity and jealousy and possessiveness, the Course calls those special relationships. I love that. You're in a special relationship if you want to run them down with your car. Because you only want to feel that way about somebody that's real special. Think about it. Yeah, right? It's who upsets you the most, or you make yourself upset the most about? Those people who are real special. So the Course says, I'm not trying to take away your special relationships. I'm just trying to get rid of as much fear and conflict as you would let me. It's what it says our higher self is saying to us. Okay, you got that fear, you got that unhappiness, you said you wanted to be happy, you put a prayer out that you wanted to look at things differently, and you've forgotten that you are spirit and you're an unlimited spiritual being, and that you create through your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. It's your consciousness, your mind that is projecting and creating and attracting and manifesting your experience. It's coming from your mind, your consciousness, your beliefs, and your awareness, because the truth teaches that we are children of God, that we have creative ability, just like our Creator does. The challenge is we're not taught that. And most people have no idea that they are creating their experience. They think their childhood created it, their gender created it, their race created it, their social economic condition created it, their mother, their father. We are taught to believe that we're the victims of everything outside of us. And we're constantly reacting to things that are being done to us that we have nothing to do with. So there are two types of people in the world. People who are taking responsibility for their experience and consciously allowing themselves to create from a place of love, and people who believe that they're afraid, and they're separate, and they're alone, and that they are dealing with they're a victim of the things that's happened to them. So you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're a spiritual being expressing through a physical body. So sometimes people want you for your body. I know that may not have happened to you, but there's some people out there that know what I'm talking about. And there might be some people you've been attracted to because of their body, if you want to really be out of denial. Okay? And so that's like me being attracted to the outer, but I don't really know. You could be a serial killer for all I know, but you sure are cute. And so that's why we want to hook up and get together and see each other. A spiritual being wakes up and they realize that there's nothing more important than the consciousness, the mind, and the purpose, and what's going on the inside of that person is what's going to be most important, because that's, in the end, that's what you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with that person's mind, the way that person looks at things. So there's a part of the Course in Miracles that it says, when you say you are willing to be in a relationship with someone, you are saying that you're willing to experience the results of their thinking with them. So if you're going to be my partner, then the way you do things, I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm going to have to experience what you think with you. So be aware of that. When you say you want to be in a partnership with somebody, you see it kind of like in very practical ways, even in the world, is that when you want to get married or join with somebody, you want to check out their credit score. Because you know that credit score is going to affect you now that that's your partner. So that's what you have to realize. The sanity or the insanity of those you are close to, you're going to have to deal with that and experience the results of that also. So that's why it's really great when someone says they want to spend time with you or go out with you. Do you know the first thing you should probably ask them is, what for? It sounds really simple. Okay, you're attracted to me, you want to spend time with me. Why? What for? What is it would you like to come out of this connection? And like some people say, well, it's too soon to ask somebody that on the first date. That's the first thing you need to find out on the first date. That'll save you a lot of time. A lot of time. If you can find out what is the purpose, do you share a purpose? And now you're both willing to admit you're not perfect, but you want to learn how to be a more perfectly loving person together, because when you do that, then you're more prone to forgive each other when you make mistakes and you sometimes get upset or you sometimes feel separate, because I didn't promise you I was perfect in the way I was going to express myself in the first place. I'm saying I want to be a more loving person and I want to express love more, and why don't we choose that as a goal for us to do together? And in that way, when you sometimes go crazy and act crazy, which you are, and I do too, then we will be more compassionate with each other. So the Course calls that either we're expressing love with each other or we're calling for love. That those are the only two things, it says that's the only two things that's going on anywhere, everywhere, all the time. Because the only two things that's happening is either I'm expressing love and peace to you all, or I'm acting crazy, afraid, angry, upset, separate, scared, don't trust you, which is I'm now in a state of calling for your love, calling for your compassion, calling for your help, calling to spirit for healing. You're about still with me. Okay, I want to check in because the pure simplicity of it can make it daunting. The Course actually said that there's nothing harder for us to see than the obvious. I always thought that was funny. So there's nothing harder for us to see, because the truth can become what you want it to be. And that it says there's no one easier to deceive than someone who wants to be. Right. So if I want to believe you care about me and you really don't care about me, then it's easy for me to deceive myself that you do. And no matter what you do, then I'll come up with a reason why that still means you care about me. I want to believe it. And so it says that what's happening is that everybody has a fantasy, which we call our script, our goals, our desires. Then the Court says then we form relationships to see if we can get that fantasy fulfilled. And when that doesn't happen, is if we go into what we call disillusionment, and then we have a tendency to break up and then try to take my old goal and see if I can get a new person that will fulfill that fantasy. All right. And at the same time, when I enter into this relationship, that now I'm going to experience with you what I never experienced with anybody else that I really wanted to, I'm going to use my past relationships to interpret what's going on with you. So I'm going to be looking at you in terms of the partner that I had before. And I'm going to be trying to make sure you either do or don't do whatever I experienced in the past. What's the problem with that? What he says, well, the problem with that is that the person you're with isn't the person you were in the past. And that's totally delusional to deal with them as if they're somebody that's not there. Okay, so then it turns around and says, do you know that that's what's going on? That most people are in relationships with people who aren't there? You know, you're going to make up for what I went through in my marriage. What my wife did, I'm going to make sure you don't do it. So see, I'm looking at you in terms of the past. And so it says if you use now to interpret everything in past terms, but you're using now to do it. So I'm going to bring all my old patterns and conditionings from the relationships that I've had in the past and the people I've been with in the past. Then I'm not dealing with who you are right now. So I'm going to be looking for you to somehow be something for me to be afraid of at some level. And do you know if I look for it hard enough, long enough, either consciously or subconsciously, I'm going to recreate it some kind of way? Yeah. But we're taught is wisdom when you bring all your past learning into the present. But what you should be doing, the Court says, is remembering to use your present learning now. It says you can as easily use your memory to remember to be present as you use your memory to think about what happened to you last week and then projecting it into the future.
Repeat, please. Could you repeat that one?
Right now, we could use our memory. I could use my memory to remember that, to be peaceful with you right now, to see everything you do as a call for help and a call for love. I could remember not to lose my temper. I could remember right now to take responsibility as easy as I could try to remember what happened when I was 10 years old. Memory just shows you whatever it is that you want to see, just like perception does. Your perception just shows you what you want to see and what you want to believe in. So how do I attract more love to myself? How do I use my creative power to attract more love and allow more love to go through me? Well, the Court says, well, whatever you focus on is what you see, what you manifest. Everybody, that's the basic thing. What I focus on, I'm going to see. What I think is what I'm going to create for myself. All right, so if I see everything you do is love or call for love, then what I'm focusing on in both those situations is love. So that means all day I'm either expressing love, or I'm having a call for love, or I'm seeing love, or I'm focusing on it's a call for love. I look at the news, it's a call for love. I see where somebody was robbed, that was a call for help, a call for love. So what is my consciousness focusing in on all day long? Love. Love. Whether it's, boy, that person right there is a big old call for love. Really, you know what I'm saying? I do that many times during the day, This person is a serious call for love. All right, so I'm still focusing on love. So the Court says then you should be grateful for the people that upset you as much as you are grateful for the people who seem to give you peace. Well, what? Yeah, you should be just as grateful for the ones you make yourself feel irritated and angry at as you do toward the ones you see as treating you with joy and peace. Why? Because both of those perceptions are capable of bringing love into your awareness and keeping you aware of love. So the person that's acting crazy makes me focus on the idea of peace. Because now I'm going, this person is really calling for help. They're really calling for peace, 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 peace. Or this person has been really being nice to me and expressing peace. So it's peace, peace, peace and peace, peace and peace. So if that's what I'm putting out there and that's what I'm focusing on and that's what I'm using my creative ability behind, then what do you think is going to start being more in my perception, and what do you think is going to start coming more into my life? Peace. I mean, the person is already upset you upset yourself about that person already, so you just as well use it some kind of way to benefit you. It's not like the person isn't acting crazy in that moment in your perception, so sure it would be great if I could use that fear, which is what it is, in such a way that it would make me more conscious and more loving, and not only that, bring more help and love to me. Woo! I know. So let me know. Are you still with me? Are you still with me? Okay. Now, then it says in paragraph 7 on page 216, so don't let the masculine terminology, Christian terminology, all that stuff fool you. This book is talking about universal spiritual themes. It's talking about universal principles. And me personally, in the 43 years that I've been teaching it and learning it, this doesn't mean anything to me if I can apply it to my everyday life. So I'm not going to talk in abstract terms and just say this is just an illusion and all these other statements that people make who don't really want to take a close look at what's really going on. Okay? And that's my call for love if it seems like a judgment, but I've been hanging around this for a minute, and a lot of times people can try to use the truth to hide as much as some people want to get honest with themselves about their secret thoughts. You know, of course, we're full of what he calls secret thoughts. Do you know what the most secret thought of all is? Tell us. The most secret thought is that you're doing it to yourself. That everything that you experience is coming from you. That's the biggest secret. But you know what? That excited me when I first heard it. Some people get depressed when they hear that. You mean to tell me I'm the one that's making my financial situation right now, and my job situation right now, and my health right? You mean I'm the one that's doing? Instead of realizing that, oh, that means I have a choice. That means I can actually have it be different. That means I'm not trapped. If I'm the one that's the creator of it, I can change it or have it changed. But if I'm the victim of it and I have nothing to do with it, then I'm at the mercy of everything. I know at first you don't want to hear you're the one that's responsible for all these relationships that you've had that you might be upset about. But we can just break it down to something as practical as you were the one that gave him your phone number. So yeah, you're responsible. Yeah. If they're a stalker, they pretty much call you because you said it's okay. I believe in being sincere, but I don't believe in being serious. So, you know, that's my preference is that we're lighten up, enjoy being with each other, and just relax. And so I'm going to show you how this reads. First of all, questions hook the mind, statements put it to sleep. So I speak in questions. Like, for instance, it says, your interpretation of your brother's needs are your interpretation of yours. Do you know that your interpretation of your brother's needs, that's your interpretation of yours? See the difference with a question? Question. What? Statement. Question. What? What'd you say? You know. So speak in questions when you speak to people, and it'll be easy to keep their attention even in a regular conversation that you're having with a friend or a partner or a mate. And if you're with someone who never asks you any questions about how you feel, then you need to kind of take that as a little red flag, because that usually means they've already judged who and what you are and how you be and what you do. To the point they don't even feel like they need to even ask you where you're coming from anymore. So whatever you think I need is what you need. That's what they just said. Whatever you think your partner needs, that's what you need. Whatever you think somebody else needs, that's your interpretation of your need. And the Course says brother. A brother just simply means an equal. So when it says brothers, it's not talking about a man, or a woman, or a male or female, or feminine energy. It's talking about a mind that's joined with yours and equal. That's the course's definition of brother. So another way of saying is your interpretation of your equal's needs are your interpretations of your needs. So if I say you need to be more understanding, I need to be more understanding. I say you need to be more patient, I need to be more patient. You need to be more giving, I'm the one that needs to be more giving. My interpretation of your needs, that's really my interpretation of my need. So that means then that by giving help, I'm asking for help. So let me get this straight. So the way that you ask for something is to give it yourself. When you give it, then you're going to receive it. So really the way to ask for something is not just verbally asking for something. The way to ask for something is to give it. If I want your love and I want peace from you and I want trust from you, then I need to give peace to you and give love to you, because by the mere act of me giving it, universal law says it's going to come back to me. That's a universal law. Giving and receiving is the same. Some of you may be more aware of it through the saying, you reap what you sow. You know, what you give is what you're going to receive. What you give is what you're going to receive. And do you know, most people are not even aware of what they're giving, that their perception of themselves might be nothing like the way they're actually expressing themselves at all. In other words, most people think they're nicer than they actually are. Do you know that? Most people think they're kinder than they actually are. They think they're a really good person that's getting a raw deal. Or they're a really nice person that people are being mean to. They don't get that they're looking at their own subconscious thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs being projected out for them to take a look at. Because if you all are me and I'm you and we're all one, doesn't it make sense that what you do is what I'm doing if we're one? So we love to go, I'm one with you, you're one with me. We're all one. Well, if we are one and we are the same, what goes in my mind goes in your mind. Whatever I experience at some level, you experience. So what's the advantage of being separate from each other? Right? Like, what is the advantage of it? It looks like I'm separate from you. It looks like I'm different from you. And my body is what creates that illusion that I'm different from you. I look very different from you. You look very different from me. What's the advantage of me being different? Well, there's two advantages. Number one, it makes me special. If none of you are all exactly like me, instantly it makes me more special. So I believe I wanted to be separate so that I could be more special. Okay, right? Right? What's the other advantage of me thinking that I'm separate from everybody that's watching and everybody in the room? If you have a stomach ache, I don't have to feel it. Mm-hmm. If you're going through a pain, I don't have to feel it. So one of the advantages of separation is I don't have to experience what other people are experiencing, and I don't have to go through what other people are going through. But if I'm joined with you and I'm one with you, then I would really have to experience what you experience with you. I don't want to do that. You know, especially if you're constipated. Now, I told you, I'm going to be sincere, but I'm not going to be serious. So somebody who needs that, I'm the wrong teacher. Because the Course says this whole world of fear is a joke we forgot to laugh at. And we took it as a serious idea. And so we create, so now it looks like we're in a world where people are separate and afraid. So what we want to do is to realize that what created us loved us so much that you don't have to feel my pain when I am feeling pain. I'm glad that I experience things separate from you and you experience things separate from me until you love me and until I love you and you're looking out for me as much as I'm looking out for you, because we're the same and we would never hurt each other or harm each other or attack each other or try to limit each other in any way. I'm glad I'm separate from everybody until we all come to that level of consciousness and remember we're spiritual beings and know that we don't have to go through pain if we're willing to change our minds and the way that we think. Until we get conscious, I'm glad we're separate. Until I get conscious, I'm glad if I'm around somebody that wants to hurt me, I can go get in my car and drive away and leave them behind. That's the advantage of it. Now, what's another way we can look at being separate and different? It can also be our own unique way of expressing the one love. See, Earl Purdy love is different from the other kind of love that y'all would ever experience. Coming through me, it would be a unique experience that you can only have through me, and nobody else on the face of the earth does love it like I do. And I don't even have to try, right? Because it's built in. I look different. I seem different. So I've already achieved my desire to be different and special. So it's kind of redundant now when you try to be special and unique because you already are. Okay? So what are we going to do? We're going to use our own special, unique ways to bring us into the realization of our oneness and love. And that's fun because then I'm going to express a variety and experience a variety of things with all of you that I would ordinarily never experience because you are special and you are unique. But now we have the same purpose, which is for all of us to share love and oneness and peace with each other. So now we are one, but we are one because we share the same purpose, not because we share the same bodies. So at this level, the way that you experience oneness is having a common state of mind and a common purpose. Because our bodies are separate and they look separate. But the reason why we have peace right now is we all had the common goal of coming together to share the Course in Miracles together. So it's our purpose that drew us here. And notice that since we have the same purpose, no one's attacking each other and no one's trying to hurt each other. It's like, everybody going to a sporting event and they're all rooting for the same team. No matter how diverse the group is, usually there's no fights going on between the people who are there to see the same team. So it's really easy to see how we could have more peace. It just means, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Are you willing to be wrong so you can be happy? Because if you're miserable, you're pretty much wrong about everything. You're telling yourself about everything. Especially in the areas you're most unhappy in and you see where you got your biggest pattern. That would be the area that your perceptions are most erroneous. If you want to figure out which part of your life that you're probably seeing nothing correct, it's whatever part of your life that you're the most afraid and unhappy in right now. You're wrong as you can be in the way you're seeing it. What?
Yeah.
I know they did that to me. What are you talking about? I didn't say that they didn't do that physical. I didn't say they didn't grab you on the shoulder. But you're the one that's giving that grab on the shoulder all the meaning it has for you. So you're the one that's making yourself feel the way you feel about them grabbing your shoulder. That's coming from you. That's coming from your interpretation. So your feelings are coming from your interpretations of things and not from the other person. And there's a part of me that's sane, likes to hear that. Another part of me, hell no. So that's why after the class, I've been, having the 20 minutes or so discussion periods, question periods, sharing periods, so to give you a chance to give feedback and to ask questions. But what I really want to do in my main body is let us hear these ideas. That's why you don't hear me asking for questions. Because the Course says the stage one of changing your mind is you have to hear it. You have to just let yourself hear it, whether you agree with it, whether you understand it or not. Just let yourself hear it. Then later on, everybody get a chance to share if they want to. But let's go through it again. So your interpretation of another person's need, that's your interpretation of your need. So think of a situation that you're in. Then it says, by giving help, you're asking for help. So does that mean if I want to experience love and want to experience help, what should I do? Give it. How does the Course say I should give help? Check this out. So the way that you give help is to perceive what's going on correctly. What's the perception of what's going on that's correct? They're calling for help. They're calling for love. They're calling for healing. That's the way you're supposed to look at it. Now, the people say, well, does that mean that I'm supposed to do something about it physically? Good question. They calling for help? Well, really, for the vast majority of people, the only thing that's required is that they look at the situation correctly. So the vast majority of people, the only thing that you be asked to do when you see someone calling for help, which usually means they're doing something crazy, doing something fearful, doing something angry, doing something you don't approve of, or something you don't like. Okay, they're afraid. Okay, so then of course it will see that as a call for help. Well, then sometimes it's hard for people to do that because they don't want to help. They don't want to do nothing about it. So the course is where you start out with just your willingness to see it as a call for love, see it as a call for help. So what's the next thing you do? You ask your divine self, you ask your inner self, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Where do you want me to go? Who do you want me to say it to? What do you want me to do? This person's going off. I'm in this situation. This is a call for love. It's a call for help. She's crying right now. She's mad. That's a call for God. That's a call, especially if it's directed to me. That's a call for God, call for help. I used to look at it as an attack on me, and I'd want to attack you back and come back at you just as rough as you coming at me, because I'm going to tell the truth about my ego so I can get the hell out of here, right? The hell out of what? Out of fear, out of separation. So it used to be when you go off on me, dear, then I want to get mad at you and go off on you too. Now I've learned through the Course in Miracles that what's really happening is you're calling for help. You're afraid. You are afraid. You are afraid right now. You're so afraid you're angry, and you enrage, and you feel jealous. So then that's the first thing I should do, is recognize you're calling for my help right now. And then so I should ask, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? I know you want me to go to hell, but where do, yeah, have anybody ever told you to go to hell? Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. Right, once or twice, right? The reason why I ask that is because you'll be amazed at how quickly we merge with each other if we all agree that we go through the same things, rather than to let our representative rule while we come together. See, our representative is who's sitting in the chair acting prim and proper according to the public persona that we now have to create because we don't know each other really well. So this is no more you than the man in the moon. As the person would be if I was spending personal time with you and you were spending personal time with me and we had become friends. This is not the way you would be acting, right? So we know right now we're looking at each other's representative. Right. So back to the real life example. Then I said, where do you want me to go? I asked Spirit, where do you want me to go? But most important, what do you want me to say? And who do you want me to say it to? So then you go to the next stage. Okay, now how can I tell if the answer that I get is actually coming from Spirit? Good question. That's reasonable, right? Here it is. You ready? Okay. If it's something that's coming from Spirit, it would be something you're willing to do and you're able to do now. So if I think I've heard the Holy Spirit and it told me to rent you a hotel room for the night, and I immediately go into, I don't have the money for that. How am I going to come up with that? That doesn't really feel comfortable to try to do that. Okay, that's not Spirit. Now, I could go ahead and rent it in spite of the fact that I didn't feel good about it, but that's just me making a sacrifice and doing what I think I should do, but not really what I really want to do. Now, it takes guts to live the truth. Because to live the truth, you're going to have to do things opposite from the way that the world has taught you, and you taught yourself that it has to be done. So the truth is the opposite of everything the fearful mind believes. The truth is the opposite of what regular people believe. It's just the opposite. So the truth would say, love would say to me, Earl, I never want you to make a sacrifice. I want you to only do what gives you joy and peace. So therefore, if I gave you advice about how to deal with her, then it would be something that felt peaceful for you to do, and you would be willing to do it. Because it's a funny thing. If you ask people to do something for you who want to do it and are willing to do it, it tends to happen. But when you don't love yourself and you don't think you deserve to have what you want, you always go after what you want where it's not available. You want unavailable people all the time. You don't love yourself. You're going to always be unavailable. It's going to be something about them that's not there when you need it. If you're really doing it the worldly way. If you're doing it the worldly way, you're in a relationship where the two of you are perhaps under the same roof with your minds and communications miles apart. Because most people in the world who are asleep think a relationship is just having a body with you. So as long as your body is here, then we're in a relationship. We haven't talked in 10 years, but your body is here. And I just don't want to be alone. I got to have this body. And besides, if I'm sacrificing myself, you better be there to receive it. You know, if I'm not letting myself have no happiness because of you, then you better make doggone sure you here so you can see how miserable I am because of you. Have you ever been somebody be so upset and miserable and the phone rings and they're like, man, and they're sad, and then the phone rings and they go, hey, hello, yeah. Yeah, okay. Right, which lets you know you're totally in control of the way that you're emotionally responding. Or why could you change the minute somebody else call you on the phone? I understand why classes like this unpacked, generally. Yeah. Because it takes so much willingness to take responsibility for your experience to get on the spiritual path. It's so much easier for me to blame my father for what's missing in my life. That's so easy. But the truth is, he was calling for love. He was calling for help, however he was. So forgiveness would simply be you all and me recognizing that the people that we have what we think of as grievances with were people who were afraid and calling for help and were temporarily insane in that moment. Because no one in their right mind mistreats and hurts others. There's no such thing as being sane and attacking people. There's no such thing as being sane and hurting someone from a sane state of mind. No such thing. So we could all say everybody's innocent by reason of insanity, including you, for everything you've ever done that hasn't been loving. Because there's not a person in here that has not experienced anger, resentment, and not been nice all the time. You don't have to tell me that you've ever been that way. I know you've been that way. Why? Because I'm just like you. And we all have the same gamut of emotions from love to fear. We just do it at different times. And so we tell ourselves we're different. I think, woo. So you aren't different from me at all. I know that. You could tell me you are. I still wouldn't believe you. You have fear and you feel love. You feel peace sometimes and you don't. And you feel separate and connected sometimes and you feel all alone. I know you do. We all do, right? So you need love. I need love. By giving help, I'm asking for it. So if I go to a party and I feel like people aren't being friendly to me, that's immediately my clue that I'm not being friendly. It's just instantly. Because I used to go to stuff and kind of wait for people to walk up to me and make themselves known. And the people did not say that was a dull party and the people weren't friendly. If I wasn't friendly, I was the one sitting in the corner not reaching out to anybody in the room, expecting them to come to me. So I got in the habit of, well, let me give what I like to receive. I like to receive people being friendly to me and communicating to me, right? And then most of the time, one of the lessons that I've learned is in most cases, for whatever reason, I usually end up being the only person of color almost anywhere that I go. So it would be really easy for me to separate myself and make myself feel like I'm somehow different, right? So what should I do if I'm feeling that? Then I'm going to be the one to say, hey, what's your name? You know, you really enjoying this party? You know, I find it's really great to get to people quick as you ask them, what do you think? This has been a trip of a year. What do you think the main thing you've come to realize this year? See, because I'm being interested instead of trying to be interesting. Most people make a mistake of trying to be interesting instead of interested. If I go out with somebody and I spend the entire evening with them and they never at any point in time ask me anything about myself, they've just revealed everything I need to know about being in a relationship with them. See, once you start to practice the truth, the Course says you'll have more awareness. And if you have more awareness, that's how you stay safe because you know better than to do it in the first place. I'd much rather know you're not the right person for me than to get in a relationship with you, then find that out, then be trying to figure out how to change it to get out of it. Because I could have known from the very beginning that, especially if I paid attention to my second voice, because my first voice is always my ego. According to this, it's not the first voice you listen to. That's the one that's usually your ego. That's the one that's usually reacting from your programming. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. So then it says, if you perceive only one need in yourself, you are going to be healed. Okay. Then, do you know that just told us why people don't go through a healing? Because most people think they have a lot of needs. He said, perceive one need and you'll be healed. I don't perceive one need. I perceive lots of needs. So the Course is telling me that I have one need, healing. I have one need, love. I have one need, sanity. I have one need, unity. I have one need, connection. I have one need, love. I have one need, love. I have one need, love. One need. How often do you say that to yourself? Saying, how do we know it doesn't work? Then it says, for you will recognize love's answer, Creator's answer, as you want that answer to be. So if you really want the answer in truth, I'm not kidding around, I really want the true answer, then the Course says, then it will be truly yours. When you really want love, it will be truly yours, Earl. When you really want the truth, it will be truly yours. When you really want safety, abundance, oneness, when you want it, how? Truly, it says it will be yours. How can I tell if I want it truly? He says, well, you'll be doing what I'm saying. You'll be saying this is either love or a call for love. I'm not going to try to help you in my way. I'm going to ask Spirit what in other words, I would be obeying the instructions that I am given if I really am serious about saying I want the truth. I wouldn't be still coming up with Earl Purdy's answers and sitting up and trying to figure out everything on my own and coming up with my solutions. If I really want to be healed, I would do what I was told. And most of all, I'm going to say I need only one thing from any of you, and I want to give only one thing, and that's love, which is freedom. What? Love, of course, says love is freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. So do you mean if I love you, I will not try to limit you? I won't see you as just being here for my needs and my fantasies and the purposes I have and how you're supposed to please me and be exclusive to me in your love. It's okay if we choose to be exclusive to each other in our bodies. Some people choose to be exclusive with their bodies. Some people choose not to be exclusive with their bodies. But what must never be ultimately exclusive is love. And love and the body are not the same thing. Love and sex are not the same thing. So when people hear love everybody, then they get scared. Oh, did that mean my partner's going to have the same bad sex they have with me, with somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, spiritual people don't talk about sex and money. It's never spoken of in any Speak Truth classes, hardly, ever. You know, it's like everybody's celibate. You know, so I put out, so what am I doing? You're watching me demonstrate what I'm teaching. You're watching me be myself, express myself. Even though I may not know you personally, you see me still reaching my energy out because I'd like to know you. So I know I have to put the energy out. In other words, I'm sick of talking this stuff and just reading this stuff and not trying to use these times together to practice with each other. See, we're not special enough to each other to really get upset with each other right now. That's why we're the perfect people to practice with. You don't care who I was with last night or last week or 3 days ago because I'm not special to you. You reserve the chains for the people you love. And what's so cool about it is whatever form of relationship you think you need, whatever that form is, open, closed, polyamorous, monogamous, whatever, there is someone that feels exactly the way you do that would be the perfect match for whatever form of relationship you want to have if you were to give that up to your sane mind, the Holy Spirit, the divine in you, to send that person into your life and to realize, based on your past experience, you are the last one that need to choose them. It's almost like, I'm attracted to you, I'm going the other way. That's what I do. I'll go, oh my God. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling my attraction to guilt. That's what I call it. Oh, I'm feeling my attraction. Why? Because I want to single you out. I'm seeing you as somebody who might be able to give me a pleasure that I'd like to have, or some kind of fantasy or experience that I'd like to have. And I could only be doing that based on my own past experiences. See, if I just wanted the same thing from all of you, then it wouldn't matter which one of you I was with. But if I want a special thing from you that I can't get from anybody else, then I'm not interested in anybody else, I'm just interested in you. So the truth is something you can do with everyone. Specialness is something you can only do with certain ones. And those are the ones you put the biggest scripts on and expectations on. And when they don't fulfill those expectations, that's where the anger and the resentment comes on. And so it makes us feel separate. And so we lose awareness of our oneness and our connection. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, relationships, it's not hard to have relationships. It just depends on whether you want to punish yourself through one or heal yourself through one. If you want to punish, you're a person like to punish yourself through relationships, then you're always unhappy in them. But if you're a person that wants to heal through relationships, you see them as an endless opportunity to give each other lessons in how to be more loving. So I would advise you not to get into a relationship with people you don't at least think you love. Because I see people get in relationships for security and money and prestige and power, what the person got, what they look like, everything. But I'm listening to the person that always say, I'm in love with this person. I love this person. I feel connected to this person. I don't hear that. Mostly what you hear is what the person should be doing for the other person and how they need to change in order to make the other person happy. And so I'm mad and you're mad because you need to be different and I need to be different. So my interpretation of my needs are my interpretation of your needs. And if I want to be healed, all I have to do is see that I have one need. I have one need. I have the need for truth. I have the need for sanity. I have the need for freedom. I have the need for love. That's one need. All of that's love. All of that's love. So the first thing you got to do is to learn how to tell the difference between when you're getting into something that's based on love and when you're getting into something based on the ego and specialness and the stuff that hurts you. So whatever form of, I'll say this again, whatever form of relationship you need, join with someone who has that same desire to be in that form. Monogamy, open, polyamory, whatever, all the labels are neutral. It's just you joining with someone with a common purpose is how you have peace with them. So again, how can we apply the truth principles to the everyday situations in our life, the principles that the Course is teaching? And then it says, I'm going to finish this paragraph, it says, every appeal you answer in the name of true holiness brings the remembrance of your Creator closer to your awareness. So every time I answer your call for love, and every time I say it's a call for love, it's going to bring me that much closer to remembering God, to remembering the truth, to remembering that which created me. So every time I see anything, no matter how you're looking, no matter how you're acting, if I see it as a call, every time I see that as a call for love, I'm that much closer to becoming aware of all that is and my connection to the divine and my unlimited loving power. So thank you. But it doesn't even matter what you all do. That's what's so cool about this. Nothing about your salvation and your healing ultimately has to do with anybody outside of you. So you're using the way that they already are to wake yourself up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. However you all are being right now, Earl is saying this is a call for love. This is a call for him. So I'm bringing God and love closer to my awareness just by seeing you the way this is telling me to see you, regardless of how you all respond to me and what I'm saying to you. That's what love would do. Love loves you. There's a line that says, I love you too much to make your healing dependent on how your brothers and sisters see you. See, God would be cruel if I couldn't be helped until you all decided that I deserve to be helped. That's beautiful to think that there's something that loves me so much that it would help me out if none of all my brothers and sisters seem to turn their back on me, like it looked like the apostles did with Jesus in the garden of in the agonizing garden experience. It looked like everybody got up on him, right? Did not hang in there with him. But God did. His relationship to spirit did. And that's the way I feel. I feel like, man, I can take pressure off of you all because I'm not expecting you to make me happy. But I definitely want to be a means for you to experience it. And people who are not ready to be happy, who need to crucify everybody else with their unhappiness, because me being unhappy all the time, this is what's happening. I'm saying,
getting character.
look at what you're doing to me. If you all were different and did it the way I wanted you to do it, and you were really being nice to me and acting out my script, I wouldn't be this miserable. So what I'm doing is showing everybody around me through my constant unhappiness that I'm not trying to do anything about. I'm showing them how guilty they are. Look how guilty you all are. Look at how unhappy I am. Look at how guilty you must be to be this, for me to be this miserable. So how can you feel innocent if you're around somebody that's always miserable in your presence? They're reinforcing the idea that there's nothing about you that could bring joy and love to anybody else. So you can as much try to make a person feel guilty by staying miserable around them all the time and showing them how unhappy you are all the time as you can just out and out saying, you're guilty. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to let you see how unhappy I am around you all the time. So that's a call for love. 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 So how am I going to deal with you? Well, first of all, I am not going to join you in your sadness. I am not going to join you. I'm not going to join you. I'm going to show you there's an alternative that's available to you. I'm going to be compassionate with you. I'm going to ask Spirit what to do, but I realize that need is my need. So I want to answer that call for love. How do I answer that call for love? Well, I be peaceful in your presence. I show joy in your presence. I reflect back to that person. There is another way that you could look at this. And at the same time, I understand you don't like the way you feel right now. And it's okay for you to express your sadness and how you're feeling right now. That is okay for you to do that. And now that you've done that, let's bring that sadness to the truth. That you're not upset for the reason you think. What you have right now is a call for love. I'm going to let you know that you're not alone. However, I can help you in a way that's not a sacrifice for both of us. I'm right here for you. I'm not going to attack you. That's okay that you're feeling this way. Go ahead and get it all out. And I'm not going to try to fix you. And I'm not going to try to correct you. One of the sure signs that you're still in your friggin' ego is every time somebody tries to say anything to you, you correct them. The court said that to be, you think it's kind of right and good to point out people's errors and correct them. He says that is total ego because you don't really know what anybody else's best interest is. And maybe the way that they expressed themselves was the way they wanted to express themselves in that moment. It had nothing to do with, you know what I mean? So when I'm with you now, I look at all of you as just an opportunity to heal by giving you what I want to receive. Try to see whatever you do as a call for love. Try to let go of my scripts. Because every time I'm angry, I know that I am somebody's not doing it the way I want them to do it. That's what all anger is. It's an attempt to make somebody feel guilty, the court says, and somebody's not doing it the way you want to do it. So how do I keep myself from getting angry with you all? I let go of my expectations of you, then you can't disappoint me. And then I go, Spirit, let these people show up in my life however you want them to show up in my life. And let me join with them in joy, because now I don't have any expectations. So how can I be disappointed about what you do? See, I want to see who you all really are by me revealing who I really am. You see what I'm doing right now? It's not easy. I got an ego that says you shouldn't be expressing yourself too much, how people might react to me. I got an ego that says that, but it also told me, give what I want to receive. My interpretation of your needs, that's really my need. If I think you need to be more open, I need to be more open. If I think you need to be more loving, I need to be more loving. I could just talk about it, or I could try to express it. And so what the Course is saying to me is, just because I talk to you like this, right, I have seen your call for help, then that's bringing the remembrance of love, which is God, closer to my awareness. So how should I do this? He says, well, I'm going to tell you why you should do it. For the sake of your need. I'm doing this for the sake of my need. I need to feel safe with you all. I need to feel one with you all. I need to feel like there's love coming back between us. I have that need to connect. So I've got to hear everybody's call for help as my call for help, so that God can answer me. You need to see everybody's call for help around you. Just see it that way, as their calls for help, so that God can answer you in the things that you are experiencing in your life that you wish were different. So you now have called for love, because at least for an hour you've heard that idea over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I know when you leave, you're going to have an opportunity to practice, because you're going out into the lab. You're going out into the lab. And just know that you're innocent, and that when you forget how innocent you are, and you forget how loved you are, and if you forget how cherished you are by that which created you, you're going to do something stupid. You're going to get angry. You're going to project. You're going to blame. All of that goes with, I've forgotten what love is, and I've forgotten that I deserve love. So would you like to be around someone who crucifies you when you're angry, or someone when you're angry and afraid, they go, I know that you must be afraid right now. What can I do? Rather than come back at you with just as much anger as maybe you felt in your fear. I want compassionate people in my life. I got to be one. I got to be one. So you're treasures for me. You're blessings to me. I might not ever see you again in the physical body, but this was a holy instant. This was a healing instant that we shared today. I gave what I wanted to receive, and you're giving me what you want to receive. Isn't that deep? I know you give it to the people you think are special. But it's time to start including more people in your love. And love doesn't ask you to sacrifice. So when I said give people love, it is no burden that I'm asking you to give people. Because think about this for just a second. If I believe love is freedom, that means let you be who you are without trying to limit you. So that means basically just letting you be. That's what love would be. It would be me letting you be without attacking you or trying to hurt you in any way, and then being available for you in a way that's not a sacrifice. Okay, that's easier than I love you in a special love, and then I have all these different needs and scripts that I want you to act out to make me happy, and you have all these scripts that I need to act out to make you happy, and they're constantly changing because you don't really know what the hell you want. So then that sounds harder to me. I don't know about you, but to me, love sounds easier now, but to specialness, the way we do it sounds crazier to me now. and more limiting to me now, because if someone loves you, they want you to be free to be who you are without trying to attack you or limit you or make you feel guilty. They'll never hurt you. They never want to hurt you. So all you have to do now is stop wanting to hurt yourself and using other people to do it. And that's your call for love. So could we acknowledge ourselves for hearing this? Okay, but like I say, you get a minute, you have a minute if you get a chance to ask questions. Those of you online, thank you. Also, this is an opportunity. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to give. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Isn't that no, that's right. Hold yourself back now. I know you're all excited about that. Almost 39 years ago, I made the decision that I was going to teach the Course in Miracles, or be a channel for the Course in Miracles full time. And let me pass this bag around for you, bro. Thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for sharing with me as a full-time teacher. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I would really appreciate it. And I'm going to make that as easy as I can. You can use Venmo or the Cash App or PayPal or Zelle or Square. All you need is my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. 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 I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. You cannot present a problem to me that you think that you have that I can't answer that from the perspective of what the Course is teaching about how to handle that. I'll say it again. There's nothing you can present me with that you think you're going through that there's not an answer to that I could give you from A Course in Miracles, and help you apply it to that situation. And I always like to joke, the sessions are less than a Taylor Swift ticket. Okay. Because people pay for what they value. Nobody has a problem paying for what they value. They really don't. We've all done it. Thought we didn't have money, and then it was something we really wanted to do, and we moved heaven and hell to get that done. I'm not saying you should have that attitude toward me, even though that'd be great. But I just know when I'm serious about something and when I'm not. I do, right? So I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody that's felt led to share with me. I really appreciate you doing that. I'm available for a one-on-one called Clarity Sessions, and also to coach you in the Course in Miracles. I love this. I've seen miracles. I'm seeing miracles. You deserve them too. It's possible for you to have one if you'd rather be happy than be right. That would be the other thing. Also, I'm an astrologer and a numerologist, and I've done that for 50 years. There's a divine plan. You didn't get dropped here on the earth without a plan for what you were supposed to do when you got here. An astrology chart done from a spiritual, conscious perspective is just giving you the roadmap that you yourself decided you wanted to take before you ever got here. You weren't just dropped here. And when you see what your talents are and what your lessons are, then it's easier for you to move through your own life with a lot more success and a lot more feeling of peace and joy and love. So I also do those interpretations and readings. And with numerology also. It was astrology that started me on my spiritual path, and it started out with me trying to debunk it. Okay? So the Course in Miracles teaches everything in this world, everything that we have made can be used for our awakening and our healing. So I don't care what you're into, Spirit can use it to wake you up and to create success for you and happiness for you. No matter what you think you believe, love can use it. And you have a very unique function that no one else can fulfill just the way you are. But we get here and then we let ourselves be told what to value, what's true, what's real. And the Course says, well, how do you know that you were fed a lie? You're not happy. You're not happy. You're not happy. You're not happy. If you're not happy, you're not fulfilling your function. If you don't have peace, you're not fulfilling your function. Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you're bad. You're just not doing what you came here to do. And as soon as you do, you will have all obstacles removed before you reach them according to the Course. So one of the best ways to tell from a Course in Miracles perspective is when you're in your wrong mind is how much you see yourself as sad, unhappy, afraid, and struggling. Doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you're not listening and you're not doing what you're being told to do. Because what's really meant for you to do, you will feel joy and happiness doing it. Do I look like I'm depressed teaching this? You see what I'm saying? That's how, and I'll do it as long as I feel inspired. I do it. But if I wake up one morning and I no longer feel inspired to use the Course, I will stop, because I'm not going to fall in love with the road sign. This is the road sign. I want to remember where I'm headed. And I love you so much that I don't interfere with you. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Every Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. You watching live. We got some great people watching live. And watch the replay. Do it at least 4 times. 4 is the number of laying foundations and building. So that's why I suggest to people, listen to this at least 4 times. Watch it at least 4 times in a week. Because it's repetition. The Course says it's not about understanding, it's about remembering. That enlightenment is remembering. It's not understanding. So forget understanding. What's important is to hear the truth over and over again. What does that mean? It means I need to remember when I leave out of here today that whatever happens when I meet people the rest of the day, no matter how they act, that's going to be a call for love. It's going to be I need to remember that. Because what the problem is I forget. Right. So it's not your analyzing the Course that's going to do it. It's going to be, I need to remember that my happiness comes from me and that your needs are my needs. I need to remember I just have one need. That's for love and healing if I want to be healed, rather than telling myself, Earl, you got a need over here, and Earl, you got a need over here, and Earl, you got a need over here. You say, well, that's wrong. That's the perception that keeps you having needs. What you want to do is, I have one need, but it's taking many different forms. But I have one need, and that need is to love you and to appreciate you and get anything out of the way that keeps me from doing that. People who like drama and like to suffer, don't worry about them taking advantage of you. I promise they won't, because they won't even come around you. People who just got to have drama and suffer, if they're in the presence of a nice person, a kind person, a loving person, they don't have any interest in trying to get into a close, intimate relationship with people like that. People who need drama and need conflict, they're not going to try to take advantage of you because they can't. And they won't be attracted to you. So you may go through a period when you decide to love yourself that it looks like you're alone more than usual for a while. That's just because you're moving from one place to another. If I'm planning to go, to Colorado Springs, there's going to be that space in between the two cities while I'm making the move. And you may be in that place right now, where you're moving from one place of loving yourself and trying to heal yourself into another level. And so right now you're in between cities, and you may feel like the people aren't there the way they used to be, or you spend more time alone than you. Great. It means you are in the car. That's right. So I'm so glad to be on this journey with you, mighty companions. And I'm here to be truly helpful any way that I can. And you all are cute. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm looking out and I'm looking at Dracula or something. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got cool looking bodies, and your energy is wonderful. And I want you to know how much I appreciate. See, you're already showing me that you're on a high level of consciousness, because you are teaching me through the way you're listening to me that anything that I learned about how I couldn't be received because of the color of my skin, by people with the color of your skin is showing me that that's a bunch of crap. See what I'm saying? We're giving each other the demonstration of what it looks like to go beyond the body and go beyond race and being open to who the person is and how they are. We're not just talking it, we're doing it in this very moment. You know, and I love you too much to ever be your boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? I have too much mercy on you for that. You wouldn't have to worry about that. I don't want to subject nobody to my ego. I really don't. Y'all see the same Earl. You see the same Raj. You know, because why? Because I'm letting my body be used for truth. And so now I look like, boy, he's a really nice guy. He's so sane. You know, that's because of how I'm letting my body be used right now. So the smart person goes, well, how can I let my body be used for love more and more and more and more and more? I save the crazy for the special people. You know, my relatives, my family, you know, whoever I'm in a special, they're the ones that get a chance to see the other side, the one that feels like other people need to change in order for it to be happy. Because it doesn't know it's secure in itself. So I need somebody, so that part of me needs somebody to validate how cool I am and how valuable I am. So that's your job. And I call you my partner. Oh, is that too real? Yeah. So, Holy Spirits, I'm going to now tell you I love you and I appreciate you, those online. And it wasn't nothing but a call for love that y'all saw. A big black chocolate juicy call for love. I'm Cy Bubba. Yeah, what's going on? All right.